All right. We are zigzagging through Fishland tonight.
Yeah.
I love that Rebirth intro. That
Ooh.
band is pretty hot. It isn't Rebirth playing it, but that's their song, Do What You Wanna, which is basically our theme at Wook Plus.
I like it.
That's right.
Yeah.
I always love the second line band, jazz band that comes through through the lot after the show. It's so great.
And they all got a bucket. There isn't like one guy collecting money. Like 6 guys got buckets.
You gotta all have a bucket, man.
Hey,
makes it easier that way. That way they can come in from all sides. You don't have to look for the guy with a bucket.
Right.
Like, everyone's got a bucket.
Exactly.
They Brothers of Brass will post up outside the Rockies games too, which is
is that the name
of
the band, Brothers of Brass?
Oh yeah, they're fabulous. And
that's awesome.
Walking outside of Coors Field and hearing that, you forget where you are for like a second or two. Yeah,
that's amazing.
Have you ever been to Jazz Fest, Amanda?
We don't have enough time tonight for me to explain why I have not, but I'm just going to summarize by saying no.
No, there's Maple Leaf Tuesday nights. Rebirth comes on at like 1 a.m. and plays till sunrise. If you ever go to New Orleans, that's the one thing I would suggest. That
my suggestion is if you go, skip the festival altogether.
Yeah,
hang out all night. Seriously, that's what we always do: is just hit Tipitina's for the midnight.
But there's so much at the festival that you could see. Like, I know he's hated now, but like a Van Morrison who knows what band? Who knows what band you'll catch that you've never heard of? And you're like, I saw this guy CC Adcock, and I was like. It was just guitar, stand-up bass, and drums, rockabilly. We blew off Panic to go see this guy, and I was like, that's life affirming.
The only good thing about going to the fairgrounds is the fact that you can buy cases of beer and just like carry them. Like you can buy them from the concession stand and then just carry them with you the whole time. Like you don't have to buy single beers. You can just go and buy a case, and then there's your beer for the whole day.
And sit there, right?
But other than that, it's just a shit show. It's like they're so crowded, and it's hot, and sometimes it rains, and I'm like, no, I don't need to do this. Just set me to the after shows, the small
venues. The best thing though, the 15-minute rain. When it cuts the humidity, that's the
but then
for the next 30 minutes.
Right. It's a cycle you're stuck in. All right, Tim, we pissed Tim off enough now that we spent 3 minutes not.
I was gonna say without Fam here to guide us, we're really gonna go off the rails tonight.
But we had another show, and it's a Sunday night show, and they say something about Sunday night shows. Does somebody have a set list pulled up?
That character Zero.
And they fucking nailed it. They fucking pretty good. Amanda, I'll let you start off. What you got on character Zero?
Well, I'll just say in general, I feel like it's a great show tonight, and I'm not one to offer just that immediate, that praise straight up like that, but I think the groove was present tonight from the beginning. And in the right way, they really got it going.
Are you pro or anti character Zero normally? If it comes up, are you like, I wish it was something else, or you like, this is what I want?
I don't wish it was something else. I think that it depends where it is, and I thought it was kind of, interesting to see what they were going to do with it from that vantage point. So I'm down.
All right.
Yeah.
And what's funny is, we mentioned last night how they haven't really inverted the set lists or put things in crazy places. And then sure enough, tonight, right off the bat, we get a Zero, which usually doesn't open a show. So.
Trey, were you listening? See, I'm bummed. Right. He was totally
I know, fully. I said that too. I was like, I think they watched this something. Somebody gets in their ear and says that to them. So
where are you, T, on Zero? Is that your jam or not?
It's definitely not my jam, but it's just one of those songs that, like we said, Santos has kind of become the new Zero, and Zero is Zero. It does what it does. Usually where it is in the set is an ender or an encore, so it kind of gets you in that thing. So it's kind of fun to have it as an opener and kind of be like, okay,
fucking high energy.
Not only is it out of the way, but let's get this show on the road, right? Like you're
not only is it get it out of the way.
But yeah, it's a win-win there with it. So I thought it was a great way to start. And then you go right into a Mike's, which boom, here we go, right? Like welcome to Sunday show.
Mike's. Very nice. We're never going to see the second jam again, but it was very nice.
That jam was like the Tweezer jam at MSG. Like that was the happiest, joyous, like put me in the right state of mind. Like, yes, just let me live inside that jam. Like that was beautiful, just beautiful.
I'd say overall tonight, Trey definitely seemed to be having some nice rhythm, some riffs going on in a lot of the songs that were maybe complimentary, but they stood out to me tonight for some reason. I'm not sure why, but I was really digging it.
Yep, I agree. Yes. I agree.
And then, I said beforehand that Hydrogen has a great batting average in 4.0 for showing up, but I didn't feel it tonight. And then we ended up in.
Well, it was weird. I mean, it was that joyous mood, and then we went into bouncing, which I told you guys in the thread,
extra joyous.
Yeah, exactly. It was really, usually like, but it was just one of those funny, like, hey, this works here because we're already in this like happy mood. Let's just keep it going. And I'm a guy that likes the straight Mike's Hydrogen Pog kind of thing. Like, I don't like when they put simple in there. I don't like when they like.
I do. I want the sweet.
Absolutely.
I'm not a guy that digs that. So to me, I was like, okay, well, they're gonna play Pog at some point later, so this is kind of weird, but I was excited to get that bouncing there. It was kind of fun. It kind of kept the
knew it'd be the set sandwich at that point.
Yeah, but you didn't, you never know. Like, it could have been bouncing into Pog, right there, and just done it like that and had
that would have been weird. There. I must say that bouncing there is much better than we ended a song. Let's play bouncing. Let's play another song.
Right, we're not sure. Let's just have it. No, it's a little palate cleanser. Where it was tonight, I was cool with it, and I don't know if anyone saw my post, but I mean, I don't hate on it. I never have. Is it like my all-time favorite? No.
Right.
But at the same time, I don't mind it. It's been a while.
Yeah, I agree. And where it was placed was really, really nice. Yeah, like, it was a good spot for it. So I like that. And then, knowing that we weren't getting the pod because you could hear Trey say "Kill Devil Falls" into the mic to Phish, so you knew that was kind of what was coming, like went before. So, which was fine. I mean, it always does its thing. It didn't really get too crazy or jammy or do anything spectacular, but it was good where it was.
That's a take or leave it for me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, sometimes though it definitely takes and goes, and you're like, that was a ripping 46 days. And other times you're like, like tonight was kind of a leave it. You're like, nah, okay.
We could have done something else there, Trey.
Yeah. But it kind of fit, again, it kind of fit in the zone of zero mics bouncing and then Kill Devil Fall. Okay, like it's a first set song, and it kind of worked where it was, and it kind of gave you that. There's kind of that feeling to the set list, kind of was making sense. It wasn't like something crazy.
I agree.
I think part of my issue isn't that song about him being in recovery. It has kind of this, fighting with it's a 2.0 song, right?
Yeah, I believe it is.
Yeah.
And I think that it deals directly with his sobriety, or I don't know. Where he was in his life, not his sobriety, because I guess he wasn't sober then, but maybe the demons he was facing, and maybe that's why I'm just like, I don't want to hear about this right now. Let's do bouncing again.
Well, if that's the case, and I'm going to be honest, I don't know about that, but it feels to me like there's some nice little pieces in there. I just say the lights. There's some cool lights during that one tonight.
And that is key prize.
I mean, overall tonight, I thought they moved more than I've seen them move. Like, whenever we got to actually see them from the camera angles, like, I thought they were moving a lot more than usual tonight, which was like really cool.
Ferris wheel up there.
Yeah.
Like is that me?
It was crazy. And there was one point too where, the lights were coming down. There was like the different levels of them, and the camera was zooming in. So it was giving you like this double effect of kind of what they were doing, which I thought was really, really kind of cool. But and then we had Winter Queen after that, which was the definite put the brakes on kind of, okay, here we go.
It's semi-retired. Somebody pointed out to me that it was done like once in 2019, once in 2018, and then 2016 before that. So I'd call that semi-retired, but I don't know. It's just, I guess it would have been cool because I could have taken a break and got a piece of pizza.
Definitely time to get off the couch and use the restroom and stretch a little bit and kind of take a minute.
Well, what's interesting is, what I've heard about Winter Queen over time is it's kind of like a utility player, that it can kind of move, early, late in a set, that it's versatile placement, but I honestly just don't think about it. That's not a song that I necessarily...
Is it a jam vehicle, though? Do you think it's a jam vehicle?
No, and as a matter of fact, the studio version with the horns to me is kind of the best.
It's very nice.
And I don't always say that about studio stuff, but I really enjoyed that, you know, Fuego and just what they did there. So I'm always kind of hoping against hope that at one point I'll be able to see that.
Our producer fell asleep, but Ixo makes a good point there.
Yes.
It's got a good, and to Jason's point too, it's got a great melody in there, you know, like it's got a great, there's good parts to that song, and there, you know, there's elements to it that I do like. It's just, it's one of those, it's the slow song, right? It's like we talked about last night. It's the bring it down kind of,
but it's, like we said last night too, if it's got to be the right slow song for me. That's I just don't connect with Winter Queen. Immediately my head goes to Game of Thrones, and I've never watched it, and I just like am disconnected from it. No, I have never watched Game of Thrones.
It has that, it definitely has that sort of, that element, like that, because Winter Queen, right? Like, I mean, it's just sort of,
just says it right.
It's either that or Summer Queen. Yeah, you know, you kind of have this play.
It's either that or it's either that or the Let It Go girl.
I kind of, you know, to that point, I mean, it does kind of remind me of like a play or a movie or like a theme like that, where it's kind of that thematic sort of lyrics and song to it, you know, that has that to it. So, but yeah, then we kind of get brought back up with the Funky Bitch, which, you know,
I forgot all about that. You know, I used to think the first time I heard that, I thought it was an Allman Brothers song. And I was telling people that they did an Allman Brothers song, and people were like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude?
No, it's not. But it is a cover.
It is a cover.
It's just not an Allman Brothers cover. Which, you know, I mean, it does its thing. Again, you know what you're getting with it. It does what it does. It's fun. It's groovy. You can dance. You know, it's kind of like MoMA, in my opinion. Like it and MoMA have kind of the same theme to it, you know, where I feel like it's okay. You kind of
MoMA would be great if it didn't have lyrics.
Yeah. But it's fun. I mean, sometimes Paige goes off in Funky Bitch and gets down and does his thing, and which
I like it. Didn't Sun Seals play with them once? Didn't he like come out and actually do it with them?
I think so. I want to say yes. And there's a point there, and not getting ahead of us, but there's a point somewhere toward the end of set one where I actually started looking up sets from like Europe 97. Cause I was like, I feel like these songs have been played together at some point. I was vibing.
Like
I was just generally kind of feeling some cool things of just the song choices together. Maybe not one at a time, but I liked what they were doing. Just weaving some stuff together.
Patterns.
That's a good point. And that's kind of how that first set did kind of feel like that tapestry sort of things like that, sort of weaving in and out, and sort of, like I said, it sort of made sense. At least those first 3 or 4 or 5 songs really kind of made sense with the way they kind of laid them out. And to Kev's point, like he likes to point out that they plan these things ahead, so they had it on paper, and this was sort of one of those.
Is the Winter Queen the Funky Bitch?
Yes, she is. That's why they exactly see.
Right. It's all a metaphor. It's all a metaphor. Life.
All a metaphor. And then we got one of my personal
and her
favorites,
name is Susie.
The NICU. I love an NICU, so that's always.
But it wasn't the NICU. It was straightforward. This is the 4-minute and 55-second version,
which I'm fine with. I'll take that. I'll take that.
The lyric is so fun.
Just as much as I will take an NICU fest like we got in San Diego last fall. Like I will take that as well. Like I love it anytime, anywhere, and it just does its thing, and it's one of my favorite songs. I love it. And the sample, I don't know what the sample was that he hit in that one. It was kind of,
it wasn't the beaver.
It was just a little blip there, and I was like, okay, I kind of like the subtle,
right?
You know,
exactly.
Some foreshadowing because we got it, tonight. But anyways, I won't get into that right now.
No, but I thought that was good because I made a note. I was like, what was that? There was a sample in there, but I didn't recognize what it was or what it said. It was just sort of in there, which was great. So yeah, and then of course we get, you know, Carini, which I thought the NICU Carini Pog was fun. I think Carini definitely got ripcorded into Pog. I feel like we could have had another 5 to 10 minutes.
The Carini was disappointing because it's in 4.0. It's like the premier tune. I think in our top 10 for the jams of 4.0, there were 3 Carinis.
It usually does it. And again, it kind of, I don't know. Trey was doing this weird thing in it, like like the guitar was really like I even wrote it down and tried to like make noises so I'd remember like what it was, but it doesn't make any sense trying to replay it. But he kind of, when it went from the dark to light, like it's been doing lately, it kind of gets out of that dark groove and kind of gets into something a little bit lighter. And that transition that he was taking us into was just, I loved it. I thought, okay, we're gonna get into like another cute little blissy jam here and take it somewhere. And then all of a sudden he was just like, nah, I don't think so. Okay. Let's just pog it. And you're like, Paige was starting to get into a synth, like a little synth there and stuff. And I was like,
he had sweat on his brow. You could tell he was ready to fucking take off. And
it was weird. And then and then the ripcord into pog, which is fine because.
But if you're gonna ripcord into something, ripcord into Week of Paul.
Yeah, again, and I was a little surprised that we didn't hear more pog in other songs in that first set, not necessarily a pog fest, but like kind of hearing teases of it before we actually got it, which he likes to do sometimes. So I thought it was interesting.
The Runaway Pog was my favorite thing last summer. Let me just tell you. Yeah, that was because it was totally unplanned. You could tell. Hey, wait, we're playing Week of Pog
inside of it, and then exactly, and that's when it's fun. And Pog has those notes in it, which it can be other songs linked into it. So it's kind of. I thought we'd get it, but we didn't.
Did you guys hear a knockin' jam from the Rolling Stones?
I did not hear that in there, but you mentioned that.
Yes, I thought that I heard them starting to do that. And then, was there another song that closed the set?
No, Pog closed the set.
So they were doing that in the tune before they went into Week of Pog. Yeah, Carini. I'm going to go back and listen because I'm wrong and everybody's going to come after me, but
it's okay. I hear things too. It happens. But I tell you, I set my timer on my phone. I set the stopwatch. So I'm like, all right, how long do I think we have for this Week of Pog? And then I forgot that I'd set it. And I was kind of hoping
27 minutes later.
Wake up tomorrow. Wow, that was a really long one.
I know fam hates when I say this, but it really seems to me that, they got to the point in Carini and Trey looked down and his little clock that's there, he knew he had 10 minutes left and he wanted to put Weekapie in. So he made a sharp left and let's get Weekapie in to close the set.
Yes, but I mean, I think he has more. He has as much time as he wants. Like it's not like he is bound.
Yeah, but I think he likes I think he likes his structure. We're doing 80 minutes. We're doing 75 minutes and 15 for an encore.
Yeah, I mean, he could have. I don't know when the laugh sample was. Was that in Carini? It might have been in Carini.
It might have been.
I was trying to keep track of when I
was trying to write down the samples as I heard them.
So I could try to go back.
I had a spreadsheet out and everything.
I know. I'm working it, I just got to see what's the algorithm for this shit.
They're like couch touring and like having homework as you're going through it. And like,
that's just how I roll,
I love it.
I mean, the old school notebook is never far. I mean, Carini's so ridiculous anyway as a song. It's like 5 stories in one. It's just one of those that I'm always like, anything could happen there,
It's the song though that you get in the car the first nice spring day, you have the windows down. That's the one you want to crank up to piss your neighbors off. It's
like the real rock god moment. And I know there are others too, but like that
riff,
in your face.
As soon as it starts, you're just like, you want to turn it up to 11. Like you want to go to 12 with it. Like you want it to be
Ronnie
loud.
James Dio to walk out and start singing.
Just what's inside all of us, tie-dye or not, whatever.
Exactly. And it gets it. And great. And then
we had a nice set break.
Yeah, the music. So I listened to the party music. It started out as, I even have like notes on that, dance party, and then ended up in like a 90s Metallica-ish thing.
Interesting. I heard that and I like tried to switch channels. I was like, what is this?
I was grooving at first and I'm like, wait, we definitely took a turn here. This is fascinating. Whoever's looping that together.
DJing it. What's her name? It's great.
And did it pay off with the opener of the second set?
Oh, some landlady.
The landlady.
I'm pissed off.
Tell me,
so pissed off.
I want to hear everything.
If you do Punch You in the Eye, you hear the landlady. Get over it. Fucking let's I want Punch You in the Eye. I want the fucking.
I think there's like a little bit of Landlady and Stash too. Like you get those, like and
it's that Nectar period when they played with Santana is when all that. But before Landlady ended up as the opener in like '91 for every show, Punch You in the Eye existed, and Landlady was part of that. And then they were like, "Oh, we got a contract with Elektra. Let's yank that out because we don't want that Wilson shit on our major label debut." And then, I saw 3 shows in a row in '91 where they opened with Landlady. Yeah, every night. That was like the opener. And
well, that's what's kind of fun though. Here again, talking about the inverted sets, we get it, and to start the second set, like whereas Zero was the first set opener instead of Landlady, you get to open the second set, which is fun. I mean, it's a little different. It's cool. Like it's, and you're not gonna hate on it. Like it's always a fun way to start the show. I mean, come on, what's wrong with you? Like, of course, it gets you in the mode. Like you're like, yes, let's go. Like let's have some fun. It's a great opener wherever it is.
Yelling at the clouds, man.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing,
thank you, Jason. Leave it alone, Kev.
And I agree. And the thing is, I love it too. But the one thing about a Landlady is that they're not going to really segue out of it. And right. I mean, listen, I'm just a fan of. I love the transition.
It's a standalone, right? It's a standalone.
It kind of has to be, just because it's like so structured, and that's
and
cool.
Even Punch You in the Eye is.
Yeah.
But Punch You in the Eye, at least you're fucking beating Wilson up, and your
openers are like Buried Alive is the same way. Like Buried Alive, you're not getting something like right out of it. Like it's an opener. That's what's fun about it as an opener. Is it just opens it, and you're like, okay, moving on.
And then in Halloween, didn't they open that with that in Halloween?
Yeah, and they usually, I mean, a couple years, at the Casbah year they did. They usually do a lot of like you always get like Buried Alive, a Ghost, like what you're getting at Halloween.
Year, Amanda, I don't know if you know this. Like 2 weeks before Halloween, Travis calls me and he's like, "Dude, I got you a ticket. Show up." So I flew in, landed, got to the casino at 3. He gave me the ticket, saw the show, went back to the airport and got on a plane and went home. And I flipped out after the show.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, he's missing about 3 hours of texting me, freaking out in a hotel, going like, I can't get out of the hotel. I'm stuck in a hotel.
I hate casinos so much.
Yes. But yes, I digress. Nice. Then after Landlady, to your point, Kev, you don't know what we're getting, but we got a tweezer.
But you know what? I bet if we go back and look at 91, 92 set list, Landlady tweezer probably shows up a mess of times.
A lot, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Rochester Hills, 93. Rochester Hills, there was a really cool moment. I remember some of this stuff. Yeah.
You had a moment.
I
have moments. I do. But yeah, awesome. I mean, it's an interesting combo there.
You know what the most played song out of Tweezer is? And if I fuck this up, somebody shoot me. But do you know what it is? The most played song out of Tweezer?
I don't
know.
Life Boy. They did it almost every Tweezer in 93 and 94 ended up in a Life Boy.
Huh.
Those years they skew the stats, don't they, a little bit?
Yes, they did. I said that earlier to Travis. I was like,
we were talking about that in our thread.
89, between 89 and 91, I saw 10 shows. And if you look at me, I'm like, once every 3 shows, I see You Enjoy Myself. They do not do that. And in 3.0, I went to Merriweather shows in a couple years. Out of the 2 shows they did, You Enjoy Myself on Sunday. So it like reinforced this weird stat that shouldn't exist.
And like we were talking about earlier, they haven't done a Yem since LA. Like first set, second song in LA, a fall tour was the last Yem we got. That's all of Mexico. That's the MSG run. That's all of Halloween. And then starting out this run. So it's kind of weird that Yem's been shelved for a bit. Exactly, Jason. Back in 92.
Right.
Get off my jam.
Exactly. Kev takes. But then I thought that Tweezer did what it did. Like, it was a 20-minute jam, wasn't it? Did we hit?
Did they get to 20?
I don't know if they made it to 20.
But we got the Beaver samples.
Yeah.
We were on the 20-minute jam watch because I thought first show there'd be a 20-minute jam, but because of quadraphonic toppling, there was not a 20-minute jam.
It interrupted it. Yes, exactly. So we haven't. I don't know if we've had one then yet. I thought it got there, but it might not have gotten there. I just had the Beaver samples written down again.
Chat, can somebody in the chat check our producers asleep?
Asleep at the wheel.
Jammus interruptus.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
But again, Paige got on that synth in that tweezer
Yeah.
again, like got some good. So he was playing around with that tonight, which
If
I
only
love
we
and
knew a
appreciate.
keyboard expert who could guide us through that sometimes.
Tweezer hit 22.
There we
22.
go.
There
No.
we go.
Oh, that is a great number. Look at that. That's
Thank you,
fire.
producer. Nice work, Llama. Good
Get
job.
those lotto picks in.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
So we did get a 20-minute
tomorrow, motherfucker.
It's awesome. Good job. All right.
And where did Tweezer end up?
Into Plasma.
Oh, I love Plasma. Plasma sounds like every song that's ever been played. You listen to it for like 3 minutes and you're like, what are they playing? I love this. And then you're like, oh, it's Plasma.
I do like Plasma a lot. I like the musical part of it, the composed part, and I love the lyrics. I think the lyrics are good and fun. Like I love it. And it's a great
dark
spot
zen.
for it.
It's very dark zen, the lyrics. Because it isn't anything positive, it just gives you a series of questions, that you have to ponder with.
That story. I mean, it kind of has like, those, you end up back where you start and things like it. It's a very, I don't know, it's kind of a poetic-y tune. Like I love it.
It's another meta kind of.
If you ate the brown acid, you don't want to hear him do Plasma. But if
it can get a little dark, but I think that was the one that got a little dark tonight, or the darkest we kind of got with something tonight. It got a little.
Oh, Brad is calling out our producer.
He was 10 seconds off.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right. Well, it was still over 20, and that was the question. So thank you both for looking that up. I appreciate it.
So wasn't Plasma? Oh, go ahead.
You go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the Plasma, I think, coming out of where Tweezer kind of left off. I don't know. I was trying to figure out, is this Daft Punk?
It almost floated
like,
for
where
a
are
second.
we?
Yeah.
It tracked. Yeah. It tracked.
It floated for a second. And Plasma is never that long. But it always, like I said, I'm just like, I love this. This is so familiar and so,
I feel like it's kind of got Carini vibes where it can go dark, and they kind of take it something dark for now. And I feel like, but there's also a light in it that it could easily turn and kind of get that, like you were saying earlier, the way Trey was kind of playing things tonight. But I thought this one was like the one sort of shadowy jam of the night where it kind of went into that darker area, which was cool, which was good to hear. And then coming out of it, we got Wolfman's, which is, Kev, there's some people that are not fans of it, I know, and some people that the lyrics are one thing, but jam, I think, always jams.
I tell you what, Phish, the description of Phish I would give to someone is, it's a cross between a hurricane and a ship that's run aground. They wrote their own obituary with that fucking line. But I think my issue is, it was the breakthrough jam in '97 in Europe. And it probably should have been buried there. Even though
I don't think you can bury it in '90s. And look where it is now. It's evolved so much. It's got some. That's what I was going to
say. Tonight I had a moment during it. I was like, what is this? I was like, oh, it's Wolfman's.
Never mind.
You seem to have said that a lot tonight, Kev. What is this? Oh, yeah. What is this? Oh, yeah.
That means it was a good show.
Uh-huh. Where am I?
You're just feeling it, Feeling something,
exactly. But yeah, I think I think that's a bad take. I always remember that interview that Trey gave about Wolfman's and how he was trying to write a Dylan song, and he really thought he was nailing a Dylan song with it. And when I look at it that way, it just cracks me up, because you're like, dude, what
Dylan you took one line from one song and one line from another, and
I mean, what can you even say to that?
I know, right? You're just like, all right, moving on, I guess, Trey. Sure.
Yes, that was in Dylan's.
No, it is not a Dylan song.
It is not a Dylan song, but he was trying to write a Dylan song, and that was his attempt at being Bob Dylan. He thought he was going to get it down.
This is Dylan's psychedelic period.
Right.
There you go. The lost tapes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Very lost.
I mean, it always has a good jam, so at least you can get that out of it. It's a song that always has a rip and jam, and they always come back to it and end it.
It got into a repetitive. It got into a repetitive thing tonight, and I was watching the fan on the ceiling, and I was like, "This makes sense. This is okay."
Oh, good. At least you were like, where am I? What's going on? What song is this?
I knew I was watching the fan on the ceiling, so
there you go.
And I don't know about all you, but so I had read some Guitar Magazine article back in like the 90s, and it just stuck in my head. It was either Gordon had this meatball effect pedal and just a womp, 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 and so now anytime I hear Trey or Gordon do an effect, it's meatball. And
meatball.
so there's some good meatball in that one.
There were extra meatballs in that one.
Couple extra, yeah.
I love our like shorthand notes that we write in our heads, like when Fam does those things. Like I just love the way we call out things with that. It's great. Like
Scooby-Doo legs is the greatest.
Scooby-Doo legs, exactly. Scooby-Doo legs, the meatball. I love it.
Side of meatball, yeah.
Fantastic.
Side of meatball. That's it.
And then we got the slowdown song of "Miss You."
Oh man, it's since I know what the song's about, I'm just like, don't do that, man. Just don't play that song. I don't want to think about your sister dying, dude. That's fucking way too heavy for this moment. But he likes it.
He writes those songs. It's like the whole Goes to the Forest thing. It's like Joy. It's like these songs. Like that's what inspires him to write it. And so you gotta. I still think it's a beautiful song. I don't hate it as much as a lot of the Ghost of the Forest songs that I would rather. I'd rather hear that there.
I got a question for you. Why is it that sadness inspires so many great songs where it's so hard to write a song that starts at happy?
I don't know why, because like people like to express their pain. It's easier to like try and write out that pain and like try and get over it by.
Do you think that's true though?
Yeah, I do.
I think to some extent. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean,
Dylan wrote Blood on the Tracks because his wife left him. Pharrell wrote Happy, which is a great song, but it's 3 minutes and 27 seconds. So,
but I think when you're an artist in any art, in any form, anything like that, when those moments hit you of like, falling in love and feeling great, or like losing somebody and being in pain, you look at like, has anyone else ever felt this way? Is feeling ever going to end? Is it ever going to come back? And so I think a way to express that is to write,
a song.
If you're a writer and a song person, then yes, you write that, and that's where you're
save somebody. I know. I listened my senior year of high school. I listened to pornography every day, and I was like, if that guy's that fucked up and he's still alive, I can make it through this.
There you go.
You got a chance.
You got a chance.
And look at us now.
Yeah, look at us now, fucking live, international audience. Subscribe and like right down there. Where were we? What point in the set list were we at?
Well, we just did Miss You, which was great. I mean, again, the slowdown song, put the brakes on, got to take that breather, which you have to have, because then they're going to gear it up, and sure enough, they kick in a maze, which, again, just stick ripped in my veins at any time. I don't care.
That's the story of my life. Bring it on.
Any song off Rift at any time. And when Rift came out, Maze was like my favorite song off that album. So I'll always take it. I mean, they definitely don't play it like they used to, but it still does its thing, and it still rips, and it's still fun as hell. So
when I used to cook for a living, I would play I'll Never Get Out of These Weeds in my head over and over as I was trying to fucking get the plates out for fucking 300 covers in a night or something.
Cavern of Shame and Hall of Dismay. I mean, Phish, like some of the lyrics are they're always so good. They're just certain songs.
So dark. That could be a Metallica song.
Yeah.
I mean, the lyric it fits in with And Justice for All. If you put Maze on and Justice for All, it would have fit on there.
It's such a great song. it's so good. I love it. And it still does its thing.
The organ is sexy.
Yeah. And
that composition, I mean, it's just, at one point I think to myself, like, when am I going to kind of be over this? Like, never, right? Just even the ending, like the Maze Hood, I was like, okay, at some point you think, here it is again, but here it is again. Like, sweet.
Yeah.
I will take that.
I would not kick Paige out of my bed.
No.
Actually, I wrote down, I know Oxel asked earlier when was the laughing sample, and I actually wrote down in Plasma they did the laughing sample. So there was laughing samples in Plasma, just to back up.
Plasma's the everything song where you're just okay.
Which is a weird place to put laughing samples though, because like we were saying, like it's kind of that darker song, and so like Phish was fucking with you with his laughing samples. It's so
you ever wonder if it's just a little accident ever?
He knocks his elbow on it.
He's like, oh well, hey, whatever. They're gonna talk about it. Someone's gonna talk about it.
And then he has to do it 5 more times to make it seem like it wasn't an accident. So he just keeps hitting it. And it's like, well, yeah, here's it again. Here's it again.
it's gotta have happened at least once or twice where he's like, oh shit, okay, go with it.
Or get the wrong one, and
Yeah.
it's instead of like the beaver. He's like, whoops, I didn't mean to hit that one.
What a selection.
And then what? We ended up in a hood.
Just the best. The best bliss.
Wonder,
the best.
you know what? Something that our producer and our interns need to get on is like looking up how often a powerhouse like Tweezer and a powerhouse like Hood end up in the same second set. Because I think maybe 20 times.
Yeah.
If you went back over all the numbers and looked at it, because that's like huge to get two of them. That's like, I don't even have to come tomorrow night.
Yeah. You know? No, I mean, well, not to really jump ahead, but looking at, kind of everything that we got tonight was pretty crazy. That Mike's, NICU, Carini, Pog.
Yeah, you listed that shit, and I was like, wow, that was
heavy hitters. Lots of heavy hitters tonight.
Heavy hitters. So like you can kind of complain about some of the other ones thrown in there, but when you just sort of look at the breakdown of what you got was like 6-7 songs, you're like, holy shit, that was a pretty damn good list of songs we got. So, but I mean, Hood always does its thing. I mean, it's a great song. I love Hood.
Funny. The beautiful thing, somebody once said to me, we had listened to it. It was at a softball thing, and the song was playing. They were like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "Well, the whole point is it gives you 3 different sections, and the last section is basically just them jerking off in A major for fucking or whatever it is for 10 minutes." And you just dance around, and then they give you a dumb line to end it. And I was like, and that's what makes it so perfect. That it's,
are you saying you can feel good about Hood a dumb line? Like,
yes, because it's an advertisement from a creamery. I mean, but my whole thing is, if you look on the inside of David on Talking Heads Stop Making Sense, it has all these questions in the booklet on the original LP. And one of them says, why do songs have lyrics? And Burns said, so people will pay attention. And that's what I think of with Hood. If Hood had no lyrics in it at all and was just an instrumental 3-piece suite, would it be as iconic?
I think you could say that about 90% of songs, though, if you just took the lyrics out and just let them play. Like, yeah, great. I think, because a lot of times the lyrics are like, what are you singing about anyway? This doesn't make any sense. Whereas the music is fantastic. You're like, just give me the music. So I get that. But Brad says we got plasma teases in Hood, too. I didn't pick up on them, but I guess there were some plasma teases in there, which is cool.
My mom always said, shut up and play your guitar.
There you go. That's good advice. That's good advice.
Oh, and let me just respond to, so Hood, they have Hoodsies. My husband's from New England, so Hood does make some very delicious ice cream.
I did a great Instagram picture once. Yeah. I did a great Instagram picture hung over at a Country Barrel, whatever that place is, white person fucking restaurant you go to, and they had Hood creamers. So I turned it upside down and I opened it so it spilled and it said poo. And then I tweeted it. I said, don't cry over spilt milk. Nailed that.
Oh, boy. Moving on to the encore.
Crushing it.
Yeah. And the encore. So, again, no Ghost of the Forest songs, but we did get Life Beyond a Dream, which I kind of...
Which I pretend is
in that element of that, but...
I pretend that's a Ghost of the Forest song.
Exactly, because it kind of feels like... I don't put it in that zone. I think it's better than that. Like, it has some good moments to it, but... like...
Somebody's calling in. Susan, Trey needs to say, Susan, this is your song. I am never going to do it again.
Yep.
Because she nailed it. I believe the lyric when she sings it. When he sings it, I'm like, it's a recovery song. And it throws. I wish I didn't know why they wrote.
So between that and Miss You, there's a lot of songs you just don't like, Kev.
There is. There's a
very
bunch
anti.
You just don't want to go there. I get it. Sometimes you're in your moment, you're doing your thing, and maybe you just don't want to think about that.
You're not going to get with Reprise looming. You're not going to get 2 like kind of bangers. You might get if anything, you'd get 3 that would have one.
Can I get a dirt?
Would be a banger, but you're getting something slow to start with. And I thought maybe we'd get a triple encore tonight to close it out. But we only
about Sleeping Monkey? There's a certain tune that belongs with Reprise.
Yeah, I mean, there's that. You get that a lot. I've gotten that a bunch in LA.
I want that, though. I want the Sleeping Monkey.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, sometimes you don't get what you want, right?
Never.
I mean, come on. So, and then we got Reprise to close it out, which, you know, Trey kind of botched the end of Life Beyond a Dream and going into the beginning of Reprise, which happens, you know, more times.
It's a tough transition to hit the Pantera riff. It is.
He just didn't quite. As long as I always say though, like my buddies were texting about that, and I was like, as long as Mike doesn't flub the bass lines in that, and then hits us with those hard basses, what you really want to hear in going into Reprise.
He gets the MVP.
Always, like it's just, you know, Reprise does what it does, and it's fun. So you know,
everybody freaks out. You never see a room get that electric when they drop into Reprise and everybody's limbs fly around and flail around.
Well, because it's so fun. I mean, it's like, and Alex was asking me earlier, like, do they always do a Reprise with Tweezer? I was like, not always. Like LA, we got Left in the Freezer a couple years ago, and actually, I like it when it's reversed and they open with like a Reprise, like in Lincoln.
I love that.
It's the best. Yeah. I mean, that's like probably my favorite opener. Like just to
get
that,
chills.
You're just like, boom! Yes, it's gonna be a fun night.
Like,
you know?
See, I got another weird early stat because before '94 they never really did the Reprise. So I've seen 10 more Tweezers than I have Reprises because there was a whole period when they didn't do it. And but the one year at Merriweather they opened with it, and then I think they closed the first set with it, then they opened the second set with it, and there we go. Llama's like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I know. You hear that noise? What's going on there? Somebody's playing. Is that traffic in the background?
You need to get a Metallica tune there.
But overall, Amanda, thank you so much for coming.
Hey, thank you.
And this summer, please, when we do the summer stuff, please come back.
Back-to-back nights with you. It's fantastic. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And you all are going to be out at Dick's, right? So hopefully we'll get to
we're going to hang. We're going to rage.
Definitely. Can't wait.
Thank you so much.
Hang out for a bit.
Everybody else on Tuesday. Thank